Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Troy, and here on my channel, I talk about dividend stocks with a focus on total returns. So if you're into all that get-rich-quick stuff, then you're in the wrong place.
Good day, sir!
Each week, I comb through dividend stocks with upcoming ex-dividend dates, which is the date you must own the stock before in order to get paid the next dividend from that company, in hopes of finding about 5 or so that I can share with my subscribers who might be looking for new dividend stock ideas. Some of these stocks you might be hearing about for the very first time, so of course, do your own research, as I'm just a dude on YouTube and none of this is financial advice. But without further delay, let's kick this week's list off with number 5, which is Brown & Brown, stock ticker BRO. Including today's video, this is now the 4th time I've spoken about this stock in this series, including one selection in a row. The very first time I spoke about it was episode 112, which was released on August 2nd of 2024, so let's go ahead and see what this stock has in store for us. Brown & Brown is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying 66 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.75%. Brown & Brown has been paying and growing its dividend for the past 31 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 12.43%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 10.69%, and a payout ratio of 14.08%. Now, at the time of recording, Brown & Brown was trading nearly 30% off of their 52-week high, so a possible opportunity here. They have an ex-dividend date of November 5th with a payout date of November 12th. And checking out their chart 10 years ago, Brown & Brown had a starting share price of $16.01. At the time of recording, that was up to $88 per share. This leads to a total return over the past 10 years of 502.04%, an average annual return of 19.66%, and an outperformance over the S&P 500 of $21,469.81. Next up on this week's list, coming in at number 4, is Eaton, stock ticker ETN. With mention in today's video, this is now the 3rd time I spoke about this stock in this series, including 3 selections in a row. The very first time I spoke about this stock was episode 151, which was released on May 2nd of 2025, so let's go ahead and learn some more. ETN is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying $4.16 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.11%. ETN has been paying and growing its dividend for the past 16 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 7.34%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 5.77%, and a payout ratio of 30.17%. Now, at the time of recording, Eaton was trading just under 6% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of November 6th with a payout date of November 21st. And looking at their chart 10 years ago, Eaton had a starting share price of $53.78 per share. At the time of recording, that was up to $376.29 per share, which leads to a total return of 785.97%, an average annual return of 24.37%, and an outperformance over the S&P 500 of $49,851.32. Coming in with the bronze medal on this week's list, number 3 is Parker Hannifin, stock ticker PH. With mention in today's video, this is now the 9th time I've spoken about this stock in this series, including one selection in a row. The very first time I talked about this stock in this series was back in episode 34, which was released on February 3rd of 2023, so let's go ahead and see the numbers behind this stock. PH is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying $7.20 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.93%. Parker Hannifin has been paying and growing their dividend for a very nice 69 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 17.07%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 13.38%, and a payout ratio of 24.45%. Now, at the time of recording, Parker Hannifin was trading exactly 1% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of November 7th with a payout date of December 5th. And looking at their chart 10 years ago, they had a starting share price of $101.79. At the time of recording, that was $772 per share, which leads to a total return of 792.87% or 24.47% each year over each of the past 10 years, which leads to an outperformance over the S&P 500 of $50,566.46. Next up is the silver medal on this week's list. Coming in at number 2 is NRG Energy, stock ticker NRG. With mention in today's video, this is now the second time I've spoken about this stock in this series, including one selection in a row. The first time I talked about this stock was in episode 150, which was released on April 25th of 2025. So let's go ahead and see what I like about this company. NRG is a quarterly payer in the utility sector, paying $1.76 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.03%. NRG has been paying and growing its dividend for the past 6 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of just 7.83%, but their 5-year dividend growth rate is 68.5% with a payout ratio of 19.42%. Now, at the time of recording, NRG Energy was trading 3.18% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of November 3rd with a payout date of November 17th. And looking at this chart, you can see that 10 years ago, NRG was sitting at a starting share price of $13.15. At the time of recording, that was up to $170.36. All of that leads to a total return of 1,520.91%, or an average annual return of 32.11%, which leads to an outperformance over the S&P 500 of $123,319.61. How are we going to top that stock? Just wait till you see this one. Coming in at number 1 on this week's list, the stock you must know about, Howmet Aerospace, stock ticker HWM. With mention in today's video, this is the second time I've talked about this stock in this series, including one selection in a row. The last time I spoke about this stock was episode 151, which was released on May 2nd of 2025. So let's go ahead and see the numbers behind this beast. HWM is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying 48 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of just 0.24%. HWM has been paying and growing its dividend for the past 5 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 86.63%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 22.22%, and a payout ratio of 11.11%. Now, at the time of recording, Howmet Aerospace was trading just under 2% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of November 7th with a payout date of November 25th. And here comes the magic. 10 years ago, HWM was sitting at a starting share price of just $6.73. At the time of recording, that was up to $198.51 per share. This is a total return of 3,026.22%, or just 41.08% per year over each of the past 10 years. That's going to lead to an outperformance over the S&P 500 of $273,908.98. On the screen now will be the rest of the stocks that I had to pick from that met all of the requirements but did not make this week's list, just in case you wanted to look into them as well. Let me know if you happen to own any of the stocks mentioned in today's video, and if so, how they're doing for you. If you don't own any of them, which stocks look the most interesting to you this week? And if you happen to miss last week's list, you for sure missed every ex-dividend date from that list. But if you're still in the market for 5 super high quality dividend stocks, you can check that video out right here. But until next time, see ya.